What happened? Stop. Stop!
April 2nd, 2023. 21-year-old prankster Tanner Cook was at the Dulles Town Center shooting a video for his channel. It all went well, until he took it too far and got shot. Here are some YouTubers who died while filming. Pedro Luis III.
I'm just not going to just set it and just shoot it. No. I'm going to stand behind it. And Mona Lisa is going to shoot it.
June 26th, 2017. Pedro Luis, alongside his longtime girlfriend, set out to shoot what she called the most dangerous video ever. Pedro decided that for his next video, his girlfriend would shoot him at close range, but he would be protected with a textbook. He hoped to go viral on his channel called Damn It Boy, but this extreme taste for fame led him to being killed by his girlfriend during their ill-fated attempt to go viral. April 21st, 1996. Pedro was born to poor parents, and he had a pretty rough childhood, filled with a lot of ups and downs. And it seemed like the heavens had finally smiled on him when he met his girlfriend, Mona Lisa Perez, who had her own YouTube channel where she talked about her daily routines and mundane average activities. When Mona Lisa got pregnant, Pedro had started his own YouTube channel, and they began shooting couple content. Pedro had described himself as borderline crazy, and was known for the love of adrenaline, the pumping of a near-death experience. In the video recorded on the day of his death, Ruiz ominously predicted the outcome of the stunt he had conceived for his YouTube channel. He planned to have Mona Lisa shoot him at close range in the chest, with nothing protecting him beyond a very thick book. He'd experimented previously and thought that this would definitely work. He was pretty sure he'd be safe as long as Mona Lisa hit that book exactly. However, Mona Lisa was adamant and initially opposed this. She eventually backed down and agreed to perform the stunt after a month of constant argument between the two. Before the two set out to perform this stunt, Mona Lisa posted on Twitter that he was the mastermind behind this crazy idea in a way to exonerate herself. June 26, 2017. The two set out to shoot that video with their .50 caliber Desert Eagle and an encyclopedia. Pedro then proceeded to hold that book against his chest while his girlfriend fired the gun. He felt a sense of safety as they prepared for the stunt, brimming with confidence that this bullet wouldn't go all the way through the book. Remember, his only concern was that she didn't miss the book. The couple's kid and nearly 30 onlookers watched as she fired a fatal bullet. Unfortunately, that prank went very wrong, and that bullet not only went through the book, it penetrated his chest. And as soon as she realized what had happened, she called 911 to report she had accidentally shot her boyfriend. By the time the authorities got there, it was all too late. He died while being airlifted to the hospital. In March 2018, she pled guilty to charges of second-degree manslaughter. She was imprisoned for 6 months, and was also forbidden from ever owning a firearm again. She was barred from making any money off of this case, and 10 months later, YouTube decided to ban dangerous pranks entirely. The video of the shooting is now considered to be lost media. The incident just showed how reckless, tragic, and frankly dumb this entire stunt truly was, and also how far people would go for fame. Albert Ireland. July 28, 2021. What started as an amazing opportunity to climb one of the most beautiful scenes in the world quickly turned grim as Danish YouTuber Albert Ireland fell more than 600 feet to his death. Born September 15, 1998 in Aarhus, Denmark, to working-class parents, one of Albert Ireland's lifelong dreams was to travel the world and see amazing places, experience the different cultures, and meet amazing people. He had a deep passion for entertaining and creativity from a very young age. February 2016. At 18 years old, Ireland was on YouTube making waves for his comedic sketches and music videos. He fully stepped into the limelight in 2018 when he starred in a comedy series called Albert, which was a comedy series about trying to make a living from YouTube, and this ended up winning the Blockbuster Audience Award at the 2019 Danish Film Award Festival. Ireland had over 224,000 followers on the gram, along with 170,000 YouTube subscribers. A number of his videos received over 1 million views, with each video on his channel being watched over 5 million times. He would produce songs like Emoji, Ula, and Summer, which became instant hits. The 22-year-old seemed to be thriving in life until trouble came. During the summer of 2021, Albert and his friends decided to go to Mount Sasita, which is located in the Italian Alps, not just for vacation, but to take his viewers along with him to see what the apex of the mountain looked like. According to reports, Mount Sasita had an amazing view of the city, which attracted thousands of people every year. And as he climbed, he kept recording, giving his viewers the complete experience of what it felt like to be that high up in the sky. Then suddenly, as he was recording, he slipped and fell more than 650 feet to his death. Experiencing the accident firsthand, his friends immediately called emergency services, but because of the difficult terrain, they couldn't find his exact location, and by the time a rescue chopper spotted the body, it was already too late. He was pronounced dead right there at the scene. As the news broke, both friends and fans went to social media, expressing their grief over the death of the 22-year-old rising star, and the authorities warned others about the risk of filming such stunts in these dangerous locations, saying clearly, it's not worth it. Grant Thompson. July 30th, 2019. After searching everywhere for Grant Thompson, his body was discovered alongside his recording device. According to the reports, he died in a paragliding accident. What seemed like a fun and cool activity turned into a tragic and untimely demise. Born on November 21st, 1976 in Canada, raised by a family that valued creativity and innovation, Grant would pursue a career in engineering. After receiving his high school diploma, he enrolled in a pilot training program at the Flying Institute, and after spending 11 years as an airline pilot, Grant ventured into real estate to earn some extra money and became semi-retired in 2010, where his journey to stardom truly began. He created his channel called The King of Random, a channel with 11 million subscribers and billions of views. The King of Random was a channel featuring random videos on life hacks, experiments, cool stunts, and random weekend projects.
The channel truly was random, with videos demonstrating everything from liquid nitrogen to woodworking projects to Zorbies.
July 29th, 2019. Tragedy struck. The Washington County Sheriff's Office in Utah received an urgent emergency call from Grant's family regarding an overdue paraglider who had gone off the radar around Sand Hollow State Park, where they told officials the paraglider should have landed an hour earlier, and they were unable to reach his cell phone, which prompted a massive search. Dispatchers were able to obtain an updated GPS location of the pilot's cell phone. According to the sheriff's office, as the helicopter approached that area, they were able to locate the pilot's body. Unfortunately, he was determined to be deceased after crashing, and to everyone's horror, Grant Thompson was declared dead. The sheriff's office revealed that they were in possession of Grant's paragliding equipment and a video recording device recovered from the scene. The authorities initiated a thorough review of that video footage, determining factors that led to the paragliding crash, footage which was never released for obvious reasons. According to research, Grant got caught in an updraft and rapidly lost altitude just a few seconds later. Other personalities on The King of Random expressed their shock and sadness, and his name as co-hosts had set up the Grant Thompson Memorial Outward Bound Scholarship. Timothy Wilkes. February 4th, 2021. Timothy with a friend would pull up to the Urban Air Trampoline Park in a smaller Nashville suburb to film their prank robbery video. Now, what seemed like this innocent fun prank would soon turn disastrous and just change the course of their lives forever. Born on June 1st, 2000, Timothy was close to his family and lived with his grandmother, Shirley Berry. And Shirley would say that he never mentioned his desire to go viral on YouTube. The only way Timothy thought to go viral was to hop on these trends, so he chose to be a prankster. The problem was that he was more into these extreme types of prank videos. He would get pretty wild to get more views on his videos. And although these were technically against YouTube standards, it didn't stop a lot of people from going out and doing it anyway. So on February 4th, 2021, Timothy Wilkes and his friend wanted to get famous and planned to stage fake robberies. Basically, they would go up to these innocent people, act like thugs, for as long as it took for that person to break, and then laugh and tell the person that it was a prank. Now, it was all pretty smooth, until of course they approached the wrong set of people. These people had guns and butcher knives on them, and when Timothy and his friend arrived on the scene, they immediately got to work. They got in their face and began to yell,
"Where's the money at, bitch?"
and after a few seconds, a man named David Starnes Jr. would shoot him in the head, killing him instantly, while his friend ran away. When the authorities arrived on the scene, Starnes claimed he pulled the trigger in self-defense, and of course was unaware this was a prank. Timothy's friend was likely standing back filming and wasn't injured. The police continued to investigate the case, however. No charges were filed against the man who shot Timothy, and this just goes to the parents, who should always check on what their children are doing and have some kind of idea of what they do online. Torekov, Apator. November 27th, 2021. Apator posted what would later become his last video entitled, "I'm not dead, I'm 57 today." He was filming the Daredevil Walk, demonstrating his skills on ice sheets at the Jacobs Dam in Kongsberg, not knowing that those little footsteps would lead to his catastrophic end. Now, Apator was a YouTuber and a factory worker, born on November 22, 1964, living in Sandfjord, Norway. He often frolicked in the ice and snow in different parts of Norway, sharing clips of wildlife and scenic views capturing his domestic travels. He would use his channel to document his adventures, from road trips to his boat rides. He would share clips of himself enjoying a sunset, or trying his hand at walking on thin ice. This man was well loved, having over 1.2 million subscribers on YouTube. Many adored him for his entertaining and funny videos. On November 27th, while celebrating his birthday, Apator began by running around in his underwear, which was usually custom. But that didn't look like it was enough, because he would use a sledgehammer to break into the frozen lake to form a pool so that he could swim in it. Unfortunately for him, the temperature wasn't cool enough to freeze back the edge of the pool he had created, and as he tried to climb out of that pool, the ice kept breaking because it wasn't able to contain his weight. So the hole kept getting bigger, and sadly all this was being recorded on the ice at a lake west of Kongsberg, Norway. The locals around heard a distressing sound, and they soon discovered Apator in the ice, and he was rushed to a nearby hospital of the Ullevål region. The doctors had done everything they could to bring him back to life, but he had been underwater for too long. Unfortunately, he had died the day after being hospitalized.
Rescued by a diver, then taken to Oslo University Hospital. Sad to say that he didn't make it and passed away.
Greg Plitt. January 2015, Greg would head out on this adrenaline-pumping adventure to film his video. However, the world witnessed a tragic twist, which no one could have seen coming. Born November 3rd, 1977, Greg was an avid athlete and excelled in football, wrestling, and golf, demonstrating his competitive spirit.
Blessed with a 4.0 GPA and an undeniable talent for wrestling, Greg was getting a lot of letters from colleges to wrestle for them.
His friends usually referred to him as Superman because he was a daredevil with some fearless pursuits. Greg leveraged the emerging power of the social media to inspire and connect with millions via YouTube, with 175,000 subscribers. This quickly became a hub of motivation, offering viewers an inside look at his training philosophy, life lessons, and his daring adventures, from challenging physical feats to sharing his insights on personal growth. You probably might have seen him on some TV shows like Workout Designed to Sell, Days of Our Lives, Mystery Millionaire, and blockbuster films like The Good Shepherd and Terminator Salvation, where he shared the screen with Hollywood legends like Robert De Niro and Christian Bale. Greg Plitt was a powerhouse, a two-time All-American, and a three-time state champion at the U.S. Army Range. He led a squad of over 180 soldiers. He was a pro skydiver, a golf club champion, a sponsored athlete, model, actor, and YouTuber. In summary, Greg Plitt was living the dream. However, all this would come to a tragic stop, as he would find himself on this desolate train track, embarking on the challenge of capturing an epic shot for an upcoming project. Greg was focused on the shoot while he was doing a self-produced energy drink commercial, and this approaching Metrolink train's horn would alert him, but he decided to outrun that train so he could get the perfect shot. Despite that superhuman effort, Greg couldn't catch up with the train's speed, and he was devastatingly struck and killed by the southbound Metrolink commuter train running between the rails. This whole thing was recorded by an onboard camera mounted in the cabin of the lead locomotive. After examining the video, the police reported that Greg may have believed the train coming up behind him was on a parallel track, not the one he was on. At the last moment, he may have been trying to outrace the train, and shortly after, he was knocked off the tracks and out of frame. Investigators ruled out a outside and try to determine who directed the men to film without a permit in this restricted area. They interviewed many witnesses who saw Greg standing on the track even as the train's horn was blaring. His family and fans went into mourning. This man left a void in the hearts of those who admired his audacity and spirit as he lived an impactful life. Jacob Cockle.
Jacob was sucked into the current and drowned at the depths of the fierce tides and unforgiving waters.
May 28, 2023, an English daredevil decided that for his next trick, he was going to jump into a whirlpool. That might sound extremely dangerous to somebody else, but to Jacob here, it was just one of his usual activities. Born March 2, 1985, in Penzance, a small coastal town located in southwest Cornwall, England, Jacob Cockle was the youngest child of 4 siblings, and he would spend his childhood years frequenting the nearby white sand beaches. A young Jacob began developing a deep love for the water. At age 10, he was diagnosed with dyslexia, which was the root of his constant struggle in his schoolwork, and as he got into his teenage years, he would begin skipping school altogether, opting instead to hitchhike to nearby beaches with his friends to catch some waves in the sun. This developed his ability in the water and made him a prolific swimmer, so he took advantage of that. He began making YouTube videos showcasing extreme footage, and his efforts had racked up millions of views. The water was his natural element. He loved surfing and filming it, and he was carving a career capturing it. On May 28, 2013, Jacob would go to Carnsue Pool in the estuary of River Hale in Cornwall to find this whirlpool, and he would bring his friend 70-year-old David Rain along with him. Now there was a sign saying not to swim there, but Jacob didn't care because he believed he was a strong enough swimmer. He'd previously posted advice on his channel explaining how to deal with rough and difficult waters. However, his own advice couldn't save him that day. While wearing a horse mask, which he used as a comedy prop, Jacob jumped into the current to record the whirlpool from beneath the water. However, he got thrown out of that water in a matter of seconds. Nevertheless, he showed excitement by laughing with every rotation. He edged closer and closer to the center of that whirlpool. Despite that danger, he took another dive deep beneath the surface and was sucked into the 15-foot tunnel. Jacob would emerge on the other end of the pool, where David Rain was able to drag him to the side, while a fisherman dialed 999. Jacob was airlifted to the Royal Cornwall Hospital in Truro, where he was later pronounced dead. People have different opinions about this incident. A fellow diver said that his courage stemmed from him wearing a wetsuit, confiding in the fact that the suit had enough buoyancy to counter the whirlpool. The majority of people agreed that in his short lifetime, Jacob had lived to the fullest. He died at the age of 24. James Stobie. February 15, 2012, James had the genius idea of creating a channel named Stobe the Hobo, and it grew to nearly 11,000 subscribers, who enjoyed watching him hopping on various trains across the US. When the trains wouldn't come at a convenient time for him, he would appear to get very agitated. Born on June 12, 1980 in the US to some poor parents, his childhood was far from sad. He was known to be adventurous and loved to travel, and after going through some financial difficulty which led him to being homeless, he turned to train hopping as a means of adventure and escape, while documenting his journeys through videos on his YouTube channel. During his lifetime, he was remembered for his quirky yet lovable self, evidenced by his humor, fierce wit, compassion, deadpan delivery, solicited and unsolicited commentary on just about anything, unbridled passion for unconventional living, mad piano skills, and just enormous talent that he generously shared with all whose lives he touched. On November 9, 2017, while filming a train hopping scene, James was dragged by an Amtrak when his bag got tangled in the train. Other reports believe that James fell from a bridge while stuck on the train and fell on top of another bridge. This incident happened in the Baltimore area, and based on communications with the Baltimore law enforcement, his body was recovered by an Amtrak train operator. The incident highlighted the problem of railway trespassing. Now, this has been a big problem for rail companies, since all the tracks are considered private property but remain easily accessible. Anybody walking along the wooden cross ties that make up a track is considered a trespasser, from anyone who's taking a selfie to pedestrians using a shortcut. The dangers of trespassing railways have been highlighted to the general public, but it also extends to those who enjoy riding them, like Stobie. At the age of 33, James had died on the 9th of November, 2017. Tanner Cook.
please don't call the cops on me. Stop. Stop.
April 2nd, 2023. 21-year-old prankster Tanner Cook was at the Dulles Town Center shooting a video for his channel. It looked pretty good, up until Tanner was shot by one of his targets. Tanner Cook was born in 2002 in a small town in Kansas, raised by a single mother. Growing up, he would struggle with depression, anxiety, and had a very difficult relationship with his father. He started his YouTube journey in 2021. His channel would take a while to build up, but as he continued experimenting, he finally found a way to get the attention of viewers. His YouTube channel, called Classified Goons, eventually grew to more than 60,000 subscribers, and he enjoyed all kinds of stunts, like vomiting on his Uber driver or pulling pranks on customers in shopping markets. Tanner's caught the attention of the police multiple times, with the sheriff's deputies testifying that they were well aware of him and had received calls about previous stunts. Tanner had been kicked out of malls and other various establishments, but to him, it was all worth it, as he continued to make his solid $2,000 to $3,000 a month doing what he did. Tanner often made the unwilling participants in his videos quite unhappy, and on one occasion he approached a woman in particular at a Target, telling her that she was being stalked by a suspicious-looking man as part of a joke. He put her in this uncomfortable situation where she was pretty shocked, angry, and panicking, and would testify in a video about how Tanner made her worried for the community. The majority of the public found his videos to be extremely off-putting and immature. On April 2nd, Tanner was shooting a video in the mall. Him and his friends decided to shoot a video where they would approach a stranger and play this funny phrase through a translator app, seeming like this odd foreigner. They met with DoorDash driver Alan Coley, a 31-year-old man from Leesburg, Virginia, as he was picking up an order for a customer. They approached Coley, who was picking up the food order, with an automated message on Tanner's phone. After a recent string of robberies on delivery drivers, Alan was pretty frightened. He narrated that he was afraid of something like that happening to him with everything he was hearing on the news. He also noted that the two looked very cold and angry. Indeed, they did seem to be showing some blank expressions as they shoved the phone into his face. The phone would display translator audio over and over again, and Andrew began backing away, telling the two to stop at least 3 times as they continued to walk towards him and shove the phone in his face even closer. Alan then tried knocking the phone out of their hands as they continued towards him. From start to finish, the interaction was about 20 seconds, but it ended with Coley firing one shot in Tanner's abdomen at close range. After a 911 was placed, the police arrived. Alan was immediately arrested, and the injured Tanner was found scrambling outside the mall, bleeding from the gunshot wound. He was rushed to the hospital and put into the ICU. After his arrest, Colin Alley was charged with aggravated malicious wounding with a firearm and the discharging of a firearm within a building. However, the jury found him not guilty of this, as the evidence proved he acted in self-defense. However, they did find him guilty for shooting that gun inside a building. Alan's lawyers had argued for several more months as he remained in jail until a decision was made. Alan was set free in December of 2023. Tanner is still making prank videos despite the shooting. He would make an appearance in Classified Goons' prank video titled "Detained at the Airport" on September 2nd, 2023, which received a lot of negative opinions.